I'm Michael Donaldson, Executive Director of the Republic PAC. I'm also a retired law enforcement professional and certified fraud examiner. On October 8th, Kasim Reed's defense attorneys released a statement claiming federal prosecutors had told them Reed was no longer under investigation. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution tried to verify this claim. When asked to corroborate, however, the U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment. The corruption surrounding Kasim Reed's administration cost the city of Atlanta millions. Several members of his inner circle have been arrested and jailed, and Reed kept a federal subpoena secret from the public and the city council until after he left office. A June 25, 2021 ruling by the U.S. Appeals Court of Northern Georgia revealed that Kasim Reed was under investigation for wire fraud by a secret grand jury. The first line of the opinion states, a former candidate for public office is currently being investigated by a grand jury for violation of federal law. The sensitive nature of the investigation precluded the ruling from mentioning parties by name. Page 11 of the ruling says, the government has satisfied its burden of establishing a prima facie case of wire fraud. Prima facie evidence presented to a grand jury is sufficient to obtain an indictment. Guilt beyond a reasonable doubt will be determined during a criminal trial. An example of prima facie evidence would be you're caught with a body in the trunk of your car. That alone would be enough to know a violation of law has occurred. Jeremy Berry was served the first of two subpoenas in November 2020. He was interviewed by federal investigators in December of 2020. On or about March 1st, 2021, Berry was served with a second subpoena, ordering him to appear before a grand jury on April 27th. Reed opposed the subpoena and informed the government that he intended to claim attorney-client privilege. On April 7th, federal investigators filed a motion to compel Berry to appear. On April 22nd, Reed filed an official motion asserting his attorney-client privilege. On May 13th, Reed is interviewed by WSB-TV Channel 2. At the time, he 100% knows that he's being investigated by a grand jury for wire fraud. His non-answer during the interview is interesting.
Are you under investigation now?
What I will tell you is this. The Justice Department under Bill Barr has looked into every aspect of my life for more than 3 years and took no action.
June 9th, Kasim Reed announced he's running for mayor again. June 25th, the Court of Appeals rules against Reed and Berry. And according to Reed, in August, the feds tell him that Reed is no longer under investigation. It would be unprecedented for a federal investigation to be concluded in under, at most, 9 weeks. It would take at least that long to gather and analyze the records that Reed sought to suppress. On October 5th, Survey the USA released a poll on the Atlanta mayoral race. Question number 5 asks, would a candidate being under investigation for alleged campaign finance violations be a major factor in deciding your vote? Not surprisingly, 64% of the respondents said yes. On October 8th, 3 days later, Reed's camp released their statement exonerating Reed of any wrongdoing. Timing's a little suspect, don't you think? Their statement also failed to identify by name the DOJ official who told them this. Their statement should read, anonymous sources tell us Reed is in the clear. Now go vote for Reed. The federal wire fraud investigation was focused on expenditures made by Reed's campaign committee that appeared to be personal in nature. They included purchases of jewelry, lingerie, vacations, and furniture shipped directly to his mother's house. Jeremy Berry said to investigators, quote, he repeatedly saw expenditures from the campaign's bank accounts that appeared to him to be obviously personal in nature as opposed to being legitimate campaign expenditures. Berry stated that this occurred throughout the time he was representing the campaign and that these were not isolated incidents. Berry was Reed's campaign counsel from 2011 to 2017. Georgia campaign finance reports require the signing authority, in this case Kasim Reed, to swear to the accuracy of their filings. Reed would have had to make this or similar pledge. I, Kasim Reed, being duly sworn, affirm, depose, and say that the information in this report is complete, true, and correct. Kasim Reed failed to notify the government of the jewelry, lingerie, and vacation expenses, despite being required to by law. It's clear from the June 25th ruling that the feds had enough evidence to indict Kasim Reed. But will they? Consider this. We all know, despite our best efforts, justice isn't served equally in all situations. Often the privileged, wealthy, or connected get a pass on being held accountable for their actions. And lastly, we know politics is part of everything these days. Would the Biden DOJ move forward with an indictment of a prominent black politician in a crucial swing state, or would they be more likely to put the wire fraud case to bed?